Right. Good morning, trainees, and welcome to another Flutter class. We're going to continue from where we stopped in our last class. In our last class, we started setting up our project to build this very e-commerce app, home haven, right? So we're going to continue definitely from the Splash controller, because that's like the first thing when it comes to this screens. So I'm going to move over to the Splash controller. And then I think I've been able to set this up completely. Picture delay, the duration. Okay. All right, so since we have this get of name for us, Odin else. To storage dot is first time, right? This is going to be get of named our browse onboarding. Then I'm going to have something here. If else, if let's see. Bring this in. Storage service. Dot is logged in. So I'm going to do something like this. And let's see. I'm going to have gates dot off name outbound dot home. Okay. And then else. Bring this one in here. This is logged in is I don't know, you see. If that one is logged in, then I'll get storage. So let me I'm going to leave this here and then go over to get storage service. Storage the read. Okay, it's time true. Void set this value. Okay, so I'm going to set another method for, let's say, user token. Then we'll have something like string. Okay, let's say string get user token. All right. Get string user token. Then have storage dot read. It's going to be reading app constant dot, let's see. I don't think that is set up already, but it's something that can be dot key user token. The reason why it's trained red because I've not made reference to this. So what I'm going to do is going to go over to this place, and then we'll have static const string this is a token now that I used. Key user token. View key user token. User token. So if I have this, I see that error is gone. So I have it here. Okay, so it's going to read the user token, and then instead of method, let's say void set user token. Okay. Of this, the user token, the storage. Then we're going to write the key and value. Then here we bring in app constant. Dot key user token. And then here is going to be token. In order to have this properly done, we set up our properties here. And then just bring this so that you see. Now this is for strings. And then it's for token. All right. Now that we have that, we can also be able to remove user token. I'm going to remove user token. Going to have storage was storage dot remove just going to bring this user token. Set user token. Okay. Great. So we have this method now for user token. Now let's look at user data. User data. This class is used to actually save user data or save user token. All right. It serves as a storage. I know I've talked about this before. So we're actually implementing it to see how it works in an app. This is not like a fixed setting, all right? It's not like compulsory, you must follow this pattern, all right? It actually depends on the kind of app you're using, all right? You can have a get storage class, all right? Or you might decide not to have that and just be applying it like in every screen or controller, depending on how you want it. So it's not like there's a fixed method or one pattern on how to set up your project. All right, this is just one way. All right, but as beginners, just like giving you an idea of how to set up your project. All right. As you advance in mobile development, there are more sophisticated ways to go about setting up projects. All right. So maybe like when you're doing the intermediate track on Flutter, and you also see that there are more ways to set up a project. Okay, so since we're setting user data, I'm going to have this as map string dynamic. Okay, and then we have get user data. User data, storage dot read. She read the storage and read the key app constants the key user token. It should read the key user token. No, instead of token, this time around should be data. Since this data. So I'm going to go over to this place. Probably just replace this. Not replace, actually copy and then paste so that we can have this. And then I'm going to change this to data. So have that saved. Go back to our storage. We have key user data. All right. Now for key user data, we have a method void set user data. Okay. User data Just gonna bring in this. Okay, there's this here. Then this is going to be data. Okay. So once we have that, next thing is to storage dot system around, right? Constant dot key user data, and then here is going to be data. So I'm just bringing in this down here. This refers to I think either positional functions, where you have your properties inside the bracket here, and then make reference to that property. Okay. Now let's do that of please hold on. Done. Okay. So now set up method for void, right? Remove user data, just like what we did here. We did for user token, now we're doing for user data. Brackets. Okay, and storage dots remove key constants key user data. Okay. Now in order to, let's say, clear all data, to clear all data, just do void clear all. Okay. Now I did something like this with those HTTP methods that erase. I think I taught this in one of our classes. It's erase storage, where I did key and values. I created a table. Yes, where you have key and values, and then I put name, first name, last name. Then it deletes the name, or it deletes that particular field. It deletes it from the storage, all right? And then also reflects on the UI, because you want a situation whereby when the user is trying to delete something from the storage completely, it should be able to see it in the UI, right? That it has been deleted, and also from the storage itself. Okay, so this is what is responsible for that. Now let's do what brought us here. This is to, let's say, let's check if a user is logged in. Okay, so if a user is logged in, table get is, because I'm trying to take care of this particular error that is here. Yeah, storage.service is logged in. Yes. So if user is logged in, right? What should happen? It's not equals to null, and user token dots. It's not empty, right? The property is not empty, can't be unconditionally accessed. Okay, because of this. So bring in this here. Yeah, that should take care of it. So this will check if a user is logged in. All right. Bool get is logged in because the user token not equals to null and user token is not empty. All right. So we've been able to set this up now. Now we'll go to our Splash controller. You can see its result. Why? Because we're making reference to this storage service. Yeah. Yeah. It's logged in. All right. So we've taken care of this particular Splash controller. So I'm going to call this here. Navigate the screen on init. All right. So we have that. So with this now, we can say, okay, let's come up with a splash screen, right? We will come up with a splash screen, or yeah, I think we can actually go ahead to just first of all set up a splash screen. Well, before that, I want to see how I can actually make the text. Let's see. We have constant here. So let's say I do something like text style dot. Now we look very well in our design. I think they made use of Monroe, Manrope or something. Let me expand this. Manrope, bold, Manrope. So Manrope is the name of the font, and then with different sizes, 40, 32, 24 pixel, 20, 18, 16. We have 16, 14, so on and so forth. Then continues here to 14, 14, 12, regular, marrow bold, and so on and so forth. So let's see how we can actually make use of this to set up our text style using the Google Fonts package. Okay, undo. Here, let's see. I wish this could be actually more. Okay. Okay, so something like this. Then we have class app text style. Okay, let me name this properly. App text style. Okay, so this app text style now we'll have, let's say for instance, let's do app title style. Okay, static text style. Static text style. Let's say app title. I'm giving it a name. App title, right? Then I'm going to make reference to the package Google Fonts. Google Fonts. Okay. Dot. Now I'm going to look for Maro, say for habits. Maro. Okay, we have Maro here. So you can see that. We have Maro because we can bring in other arguments like things like font size. All right. We can have something like font weights. Font weight. We can also have color. We also have color. Okay. So for this font size, I think we already designed the font size for app. Here is the app size. So we have font sizes here. These are font sizes. XS, SM, medium, large, extra large, extra large, right? Yes. Then what else again? Padding and margin, we don't need this. So font size, we already have this fixed. For that of font weights, we don't have font weights, right? We don't have font weights, but let's see. Was it indicated here? No, it wasn't. But let's see how we can go around that, right? Then we also have our colors. These are colors. These are the colors. These colors, there might be actually more, but let's see. Let's see. So for this font size, we're going to do app size. Okay. Dots. Now let's see for the title. Let's say if it's app title, I think we should have something like font XXL like this. If it doesn't fit, we can just be able to change it while we are building the app to see that it matches with what we have, right? Then for the font weight, we'll have for this one we can have font weight. Okay, dots. Let's say it's spelled bold. Let's start from, let's see. Okay, so let's just say 800. Let's just give 800. It's supposed to be small. Then for the color of the app text, Let's say we have this one is going to be app colors. The primary. Okay, we're just giving it primary anyway. So, but let's see if we can do some adjustments or more additions on the like for this one now, we're not so sure about this. So let's leave that for now. Let's move on to others. So for others, okay. Now let's move on to the other one. Now this app title style is probably for, let's say, for, if I should bring this in now. Okay. This should be it. App title. This large text with fonts like this. So these are large text. Then the next one, this tagline. For this tagline, this looks more lighter and looks a little bit gray, not black like this, right? So let's probably do that. Let's see app. Let's see our tagline style. We'll have static text down. Okay. Tagline equals to. So instead of actually writing all of these again, I can just come over here, copy this, paste here. Okay, but the difference is in the tagline, app title. All right. Then for this one, the size, of course, is not going to be extra large. Let's say we use thinking we should use medium, right? And then let's give it a font weight of, let's say, when you use 500. If it's still large, then I'll still definitely bring it down. For this one, the color should be gray. Yeah. So this one is set up. The next thing we're going to be setting up is just going to bring this down, paste it. Let's say let's just call this, let's call this let's say section header, right? So I'm going to replace this with section header. Okay, then our size font, this one is going to be, let's say, extra large, since we already have extra large. Then for the font, let's say 700, just a little bit different from this one. Then for the color, let's say black.
Okay, so now that we have that, let's move over to the next one. For the next one, what else again do we have here? Can see, okay, we have for this, which other one? This text look different, right? They actually need that. Okay, so of course we'll go to let's see. I think we can actually even make do with this for now. Let's do inputs, input field text, all right? Because I'm thinking this one should be different from what we have here, if not almost similar though. So I'm going to get this to input field, and then font ND, let's see, 500 color block. Okay, so I'll make do with this. Let's have for the button, let's say primary button. Okay, I'm going to paste this, and then I'm going to do primary button. So for this one, let me see if I can just adjust this. If it's something that might not really be too much, because the text is white, so have white color. Okay. Looking at this social button, we have, this is more like green, right? So let's leave it at this first. So as we continue, we'll make changes and make updates. All right. But then I want to see how I can maybe add some more colors, even though, let's see, I think it's mostly green, gray, white, black, right? Green, gray, white, black. Though some grays can be different. Like this one now, this gray is very light compared to this one, right? Okay, so now let's move on, let's proceed. So now that we have our text styles as constants, let's move over to screens, controllers, and I'm going to the folder and call this screens. Inside screens, we'll have splash, screen dot that. Always take note of your naming convention. All right, you're naming your files, always add the extension. So now that we have splash screen, the splash screen looks, let's say, has a background, very complete background, right? Has a home image or icon, a text, text value, home haven. So looking at this, we want to see how we can be able to center this image or icon just at the center of the screen. Not towards the right or left, not up, not down, but just at the middle. So to do this, go to our screen, and then this is going to be a headless widget, because I named this splash screen, right? And then I want to be able to see it while working. So I'll place it at this angle here, and then here return scaffold. First. Return scaffold, background color of green. So here we're making reference to app colors dot primary. The primary color here is green, all right? Not actually the light green or and if you notice, this is actually looking like the green here is kind of lighter and darker at the base. All right, so I want to do something about this, but let's first of all work with what we have first. Then later on, we can start making changes. So if we have a scaffold background, then we'll have a body. In our body, we'll have container. With a width and height of, let's see, I'm not sure we defined width and height, did we? No. So width, double dot infinity, height, double dot infinity. I'm just going to do this into a size box. Replace the size box. I think it's better. Bring in the child, and this child is going to be a column. Okay, column of children. And inside our children, let's have this logo container. So bring in container, right? A width of, let's say, 120, and height, let's say 120 is same. Then we'll have a decoration box, decoration. And inside this box decoration, there are going to be some properties. Let's say app colors dot white. Let's see. Let's bring color. have colors to white, right? Maybe introduce a border radius, I don't know, but let's see if that will work. Do we have border radius in our constants? I believe we should. Border radius x. So we'll have app size dot, let me see, app size dot radius x. So I will make use of LG 16. So how about radius dot circular app size dots. Now let's go look for radius. Okay, radius dot LG, which is 16. Radius dot LG, yeah. I think I'm missing something here. But radius. Okay, I'm gonna come out here. Then I don't know, but let's see. I think that is all we need for this particular place, but let's see if we can work around that. Then the next thing we have is let's see. I should come down here. We have child here. Stay here now, or I want to introduce an icon to see how it will look like, right? Even though I don't know, might be able to get this picture. I don't know how possible that is, but I want to see how I can work around that. So I'm going to bring in box. Box shadow. And this box shadow is going to be here. I've not really been using this box shadow a lot, but let's try this box shadow. Instead of box shadow, I have a color of of course the black dot width. Okay. Now its opacity is deprecated, right? This is deprecated. That's why it's showing this returns a new color that matches the color with blah, blah, out of those values. All right. So, but if you see things like this, it means it's deprecated, meaning it only works with older versions of Flutter. But in your case, if you're using an older version, it won't show deprecated like this. You can see what it's saying. With opacity is deprecated and shouldn't be used up with values to avoid precision loss. All right. But even though if you're going to use with value, I actually recommend with alpha. With alpha, like this now, I'm going to use 0.1, right? So let's see what that gives us. And then we'll have a blow radius. Let's say radius. Although we didn't really define that, but let's just give this 20. Since we didn't set that. Then let's say an offset of I don't know, but for a start, let's do 0 and 20. For a start, 0, 10. Okay, there's something missing. I think I'm supposed to, okay. All right. So we'll work with this. This. Then I'm going to bring in, let's say I bring in a child here. All right, and that child, let's make use of an icon. This icon is going to be icons.home. I think we should have home icon, yes. This actually rounded in a way. So let me try this option. Let's give it a size here. So if I should do size of 60, do size 60, and then the way to app, let me see. I'll do a color of app colors dot white. Let's use white and see. Use white. That might work. That might just work. We don't know yet for sure. Don't know for sure yet. So let's bring in a, now I want to see how we can apply this text, okay? So we'll bring in a sized box, and app size. Is there any app size here? Let's see, okay, that large. Okay, so for make we do with this, let's do app name. The app name is going to be a text widget. All right. Now this is where string comes into play. I remember we set up our app strings, right? Now you can see this app name here. So I'll just go app strings dot app name. Make reference to it here, and do app string dot app name. Okay. And then when it comes to the style, we'll now give it style is going to be app text style. We have app text style, app title. So you can see what you notice about this. This is different from when you are actually doing something like this. When you're doing something like this, app name, right? Style, text style, right? And then you're adding all of the fonts, size. Let's say something like 18 font weight like this, and then color colors dots green or dark green. Can you see the difference? This is just a one line code. Why this one is taking up 1, 2, 3, 4? You see? So now this is the difference. When you set your project, now if you want to make changes now to this particular screen, you don't need to come down here to make change. All you need to do is, if you want to change this app name now, go over to this place and make the change here. When you make the change here, it reflects in not only that splash screen, but anywhere else you have app name with a text widget. If you have lots of screens, there are changes you need to make regarding style, regarding font, regarding all you have to do is go to the constants, even if it's color, all right, and then make change to the color. If they say, okay, they don't want green as the color again, you just come here and make the change and reflects in all your screens. This is maintenance, maintainability, which is very important in your source code when you're building projects as a developer, all right? Not only as a mobile developer, but also as a web developer, any form of niche or stack you're a developer, you should have, all right, constants or components that you can easily just edit, make changes that reflect in your screens or in the entire project. Now you see the importance of this, right? So we don't need this now. We don't need that. So I'm going to take it off, right? I think I deleted something else again. Did I? Okay, I'll take this one off too. So you can see our screen is way shorter. I'm not sure we have up to this width size in app size, do we? I think the app size we have is 48, so not up to 120. All right, so that's why we're using 120 for that. So this for our splash screen, this icon for the home rounded, right? For this size, do we have up to 60? No, we don't. So that's why I'm using that. Now that we have that, we do another thing again to add. Okay, there's no indicator here, but we could just add something, just something like an indicator. All right. An indicator, just like, let's see. So I'm going to like come here and do size box with a height of, let's say, app size. Dots. Let me use ND, right? And then we'll have another sized box. Maybe the width of 40. Do we have size of 40 here? No, just 32, 48. Although all of the other sizes you might need can be defined as well. All right, it doesn't have to be this short. Let me see, 24, 32, 48. You can add other sizes. All right, icon size, font size, border radius, either height or width. So we don't have that of height and width. But this icon size. So this icon size, I think I can actually implement it somewhere here. This is, so let me see. App size, that icon. Let's use large. Let's see how that will look like by the time we do it. So here, I'm adding a height of, let's say, 40, and a height of same 40. We'll have a child, and our child, let's bring in a circular progress indicator. All right. Now this circular progress indicator can have a value of, let's say, always stop animation. Okay. The value is going to be, no, something I need to put here. Color. And in here is going to be up color dots. Let's do a white. Where is my white? Where is white now? Showing here. But anyway, app colors dot white. Okay, this is okay. I use value here instead of value color. Then let's do a stroke width. Stroke width of let's say 3. Then 3 should be fine. Okay, so I think this should actually work with our what do you call it now? This should work with our splash screen. Anything again missing? I don't think there's anything missing, right? So let's look at it and see how it looks like though. So I'm going to go over to main, and then I'm going to debug while we have device on screen. You see what it actually looks like. Okay. Problems. The import package this. We don't need this. With opacity deprecated. Okay, I think I'll change this. But I need a value that's equivalent to 0.1. I think that should be 26, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So for have a splash screen, there's something else I think I should do here. I'm not sure though, but we'll look into it. We'll definitely look into it. because I believe there's something that's supposed to be here after column, right? Let's see how this runs. Please, when you're watching videos, always take note of little and little details, no matter how small or insignificant it might look. Always look out for details. How I name my files, how I'm structuring. All right, now it says install. Let me install this. What do we have? Okay. Location get routes, build action line 71. Okay. Starts with this. Okay, it is necessary to start with route's name with a splash. With a splash. Okay. Let's see. I think this has to do with routes. So let's go over to our route. A splash. Okay. Pages. We have this. Okay. There was something I said I was going to make updates to. We have name, we have page. Oh. All right. So what we're going to do here now is I'm going to make changes to this, but changes more like an update. All right. So that we just have everything in order. So for this particular get page, or do I will start with this? For this name, we have, let's see. I think I also remember that we're supposed to add binding, right? Not added binding, which is also very important. Not added binding. Okay, so let's take out this and bring in splash. It's the name. This is supposed to be okay. Then on our page, we should have, let me see, maybe I should take this off. Splash screen. Now that we have our splash screen, right? Name splash, undefined name splash. We actually have splash now. It's splash now in our app routes. Okay. I want this properly arranged. Let me see. Because I want to know what I'm missing. page, okay. Binding, right? Have splash binding, yes. Then, okay, of course we can add something else, but I'll get to that. Now for this one, get page, name, splash. Why is it not getting the name? Okay, is this supposed to be up routes the splash? Okay. Okay, so we have this now. Let's see. I think this should take care of things. What about our binding? Is our binding complete? Initial binding, splash binding. There's nothing on our splash binding. So even our initial binding, is there anything there? Say, there's nothing on initial binding. Okay, I know I left all this empty. Yes. So for the initial binding, let's have get dot put, either put or lazy put, whichever one. All right. Put inside here is going to be storage service, right? It's going to be permanent true. Okay. Get storage service. Still we need for this. No, where did I get from? Okay. So if we have this, yeah. This is an example. I also placed mine like this. Of course, it still works. Yeah. So take this one out. Now this is for initial binding. Then let's go back to splash binding. Splash binding. Of course, we can have something like this. Let me just comment this. Now your controller, which controller? They're referring to my splash controller. And then splash controller again here. Right? Yeah. This is what I'm referring to. So for the add dependencies here. Okay, so we have this now. We have this now. We have about this. Okay. So let me restart this. Going to restart all of this again to see what we get. Okay. Now you can see our screen is actually up. So let's go over to our splash screen. I think it should be from this column. So from this column, I'm going to add something like main axis alignment, dot center. Let's see what this does. Okay, now we have it at the center, home haven. Okay, so I think our text is actually okay. Then for the home color, let's use primary. Let's see what happens. Okay, now we can see that the home is small inside this. So what we did was created a background. Let's look at the image. Okay, so the icon is supposed to like serve as can we actually increase the size? So I'm not going to use work with 80 and see how it looks like. Okay, that's 80. Let's give it 120. Let's see what it looks like. That'll work. Okay. It's 140. So it's actually offsetting towards the right. Okay, so although this does not actually look exactly like this particular one, except I will have to get this. But let me see if I can actually get that. Let me see if I can get that. Going to go over to my screen. I think I opened this. Okay, let's see if we can open this. I think I already opened this in Figma before. Okay, then this should be it. Let's wait for it to load. All right. If we can actually get this exact image or asset, it will actually be very, very good because we want something that actually matches what we have. If we have that, you'll notice that all those lines of code we have on, what do you call it now? Design, let's look at UI design. Okay. Now this is it. Still, we can pick it from here. Getting closer. What we have is this. Okay, so let me pick this as a PNG, right? Increase the size. Now you can see the practical use case of how I'm actually getting this image exported. So I'll go over to where Home Haven project is. In here. look for home haven. This is home haven. Go over here, look for the assets, and then add it to icons. Home icon. So I don't need all this many home icon. Save as PNG. All right, so if we save that, it might look small though, but let's see. I think we can actually apply it here. So I don't want this container anymore. I don't want this container here. As a matter of fact, if you look at the very image, around it is white. Okay, and then we have the green reflecting from the inside. Almost what we have though, but it's close, but it's not exact. So let's, in the next couple of minutes, let's see what we can do. So I'm going to come over to this container. This container contains all of this that makes up this particular one. So since I no longer want it, I'm going to comment that code out. And then I'm going to bring in image. Let's make use of, let's see. Image.assets. I've not even make, let me see. I don't have constant for images. So let me go over first to create that file. App images.dat, right? .dat. And inside here, we're going to have class app images. And then we're going to have static const how did you make the colors? Okay, so instead of this, we're going to have string home home icon. Missing the T here. Okay, home icon is going to be equal to now I want to make reference to that very file. So have assets slash icons slash home icon dot png. I think we'll be able to make reference to it. Assets icon, but this is supposed to be small later. Assets icons home icon dot png. All right. So even if you want to make changes to images, you just have to come here and make the image and it just reflects in the screens. Sometimes you might have repeated images on different screens. So instead of going to those different screens to start making updates because you want to, because the designer or the client wanted the designer to change the image that was used previously, and you've already implemented it. So instead of going to those screens to start making updates one by one, you just come here and just replace this, all right? Of course, you have to delete this one, then replace the image in here, delete this, and ensure that it matches. And that's it, and you're good to go. It just addresses every other image in those screens. So for this one, we'll go to a splash screen. Here we'll have app images dot home icon, right? No, then what other thing? Let's have any other thing you want to add? Color, is any for color? No. Fit. Let's look at weights. I want to add weights. Let's give it a weight of 40. Let's see what that works, how that works. All right. So I'm going to save and see what happens. Yeah. Now we have that. Let me increase this to 90. See. Okay. So now we have this. Isn't this lovely and beautiful? Right. So you can see just this one line of code takes care of this instead of all these long. So I'm going to take out this because you don't need it, right? But even though if you want to make reference to this in any of your project, you can actually do since it's actually recorded. All right. Okay. I might want to actually bring the distance low. Let's see SM. Okay, so let's look at this together. Now, our home haven is actually white, not black. So I'm going to go over to the app textile where we have app title, and I'm going to put the color as white. Um, or I rather just maybe, I don't know, can I do something like this? Final string, sorry, final color, right? And then actually do this. Let's see. I should do this. This actually work. Okay. So it might not really work. Okay. What I actually wanted to do is all right, so now app title. So I'm going to take this off. Let me see. I can use color. Why is it not? Why is it not? Let's see. Change this to white, maybe. See. Why is it not changing? Splash screen. The app type to app colors that white. Let me refresh this. Okay, okay. So we have home haven, home haven. We have our icon here. We have our icon. All right. It might not really look sharp on your end, maybe because of this particular screen I'm mirroring. But on my phone design, my phone device is actually very sharp and clear. So you could actually get the source code, all right? Run it on your app to see how it looks, okay? Yes, so we've been able to set up the image constant. Of course, by the time we start making use of more images, I'll be bringing them over down to app images, all right? There are going to be more of them here. I can even maybe let's say this is splash for splash, and then maybe for onboarding, I can come here and just do onboarding. I think I should have the images for onboarding. Let me see if I can add those. I should have them here. Yes, I have them here. But although, let me see. Yeah, I think I can actually do that here. So I'm going to copy this, paste here, and I'm going to do onboarding 1. All right. Here is going to be images, and then onboarding 1.png. So I'll replicate this here and here so that we'll have two, then we'll have 3. So now we have this here. Then by the time we now come up with our onboarding controller and our onboarding screen, what next? You just see that. Now, the reason why it keeps loading is because we've not set it up to navigate to another screen, because no other screen is available for now. All right. So by the time we resume again in our next class, we're going to look into the onboarding screens or the onboarding pages. All right. Then what we'll have next is onboarding screen and onboarding binding, and the app routes.onboarding. Okay, maybe I can even set that up before our next class. Since we have screens here, because of the way things are, I'm just going to model all these screens here. So have onboarding screen dot that. Even though we're still going to have onboarding each dot that. Yes, I'm going to actually make use of this just so that we can have this. These are this one screen, but we have this page will be displayed in the scroll. I'm going to also introduce like just introduce a warm effect. That's what we call the warm effect. All right. When you are sliding from one screen to another. Yes. So we'll look into that in our next class. All right. So does anyone have a question? Does anyone have a question? At least we've been able to achieve our splash screen. Now, for this splash screen, let's see. Maybe there's something I can still introduce in the app routes, the app routes or app pages now. Let's say something like transition. Transition. What they call it again? Self. I think you have it. Let's see. I think it's called transition. Okay. Dot. Let's put it down to top, left to right, right to left. Although might not really see the effect now, can we? They will not see. Like when it's actually fading off, all right, leaving the screen to, so it fades like right to left, you know, kind of with fade, right to left with fade. This transition, right? Just transitioning the splash screen, whatever transition you want to give it, or up, down, whatever. But we'll see the application of it definitely. So who has questions for me here? Anybody with question? Okay. There's no question. All right. But just so you know, you can always drop your question in the Discord chat channel. Okay. I'm going to stop recording.